Live. All right, we are live, but oh, so dead. This is COFOH Live Undead. I am your host, Daniel Crosier, and I am joined by the amazing Bill Black and Maria Paris.
You have something on my face.
Oh, Bill, Maria!
Hey!
Well, it's great to meet you. Maria, welcome back.
I know, thank you so much for having me back. I'm so excited to see you again.
It's always a pleasure. Yeah, I know our audience, Maria. We're familiar with where you came from and how you got into filmmaking via this gentleman, Mr. Bill
What are you
Black.
calling a gentleman? Whoa!
Oh, fight word. Bill, thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
You're the only one that would, I believe.
Oh no. Yeah. After this one, everybody's going to be lining up to interview you.
Yeah.
Ooh.
No, seriously.
Open up your calendar, all right?
Okay.
But Bill, tell us a little bit about yourself. You've got a long history of filmmaking and making comics.
Yes.
Yeah. How did you get into all that creative awesome?
Okay. I grew up in the 50s. I'm real old. And I went to every weekend monster double bill in the 50s that was ever shown. And I was just in all those movies you saw on television, I saw on the screen in their initial release. Okay.
Nice.
By 1960 or 62, I had logged in 300 horror monster fantasy films. Okay. So I would look at movies like The Astonishing She-Monster and say, maybe I could do something as good as that, right?
Yeah.
So when I was in high school, I started making my own amateur films, and I'm making my own amateur films to this day. Just finished one up last month. So
Oh, cool.
yeah.
Wait,
So
which
that's-
one is this one? This new
The
one?
Mummy Creeps.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's a horror comedy, and it came out pretty good. I was very pleased with it. It'll probably be my last film though, because I'm getting a little long in the tooth for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a tough creative process and such a big involving one too. Involves so many talents as well, namely Maria. Maria, are you in the Mummy movie?
I'm not in the Mummy movie. No.
Yeah,
That's all. He's still shooting in Florida. He's been going since I left. So I don't know. Maybe I paved the way a little bit.
Oh yeah, a big way. Yeah, and you are in it. You're in it. You have a cameo.
Oh, I have a cameo. Oh,
yes.
good.
Yeah,
Hold your
you're in
footage. Love it. Keep making me look timeless, Bill. That's all I ask.
Right. Yeah, Maria, you got your start working with Bill, right? Can you
Yes.
tell us a little bit about that experience?
This was kind of the most amazing thing. So, my whole life kind of came full circle with Bill in Orlando, Florida. I moved there back in 2000. Yeah, 2000. Sorry. Yep, 2000. Excuse me. And I started in community theater there because I had worked at other stuff where I was coming from New York and so forth. And there I worked at Shoestring Theater. Did some of my first couple of shows there. Did Jake's Women, which is a Neil Simon play. I played the lead role. And the woman that cast me, she wanted me to play the typical New Yorker. There's one scene where they have the New Yorker with it all up in the nose and the whole thing. And I was like, I really want to have a chance to do something that's not typecasting. I really want to play the lead, Maggie. She's like, you're too young. I said, please, I will act older. I swear, let me have this. So Sally Dakin let me have the role, and she directed me. She's a fantastic director. And the show went out without a hitch, and she was amazed. And I told her, hey, I just landed the part of Audrey in Little Shop of Horrors. And she said, I hate that show. And I was like, oh, you're going to love it. I want you to come and see it. Please, please, please come and see it. You know, and I was like, and so the show went, we went, that show actually went longer running at Shoestring Theater. It was a musical. So I played Audrey and sang, and everything was amazing. She came up to me after the show and she was like, I hate you. I go, what? She goes, you made me love Audrey. And and I was like, yay. And I was so excited. And she's married to a guy named Cliff. Well, it turns out that Cliff is actually a comic book store owner.
Oh, cool.
And apparently Bill Black had been talking to Cliff, and they've been going back and forth because Bill was making movies and then had stopped for a little bit and was trying to find somebody who fit this description he needed for one of his comic book characters. So now Audrey, if you don't know Little Shop of Horrors, Audrey's like this very demure, very dumb-headed, big boobed, you know, it's perfect character. But she, you know, she has, you know, but she's like very innocent in what she does. And I get approached by Bill after the show, and he says, I would love to cast you as Alizarin Crimson, the evil sorceress of the 9th quadrant. And I was like, how did you get that from Audrey? Like, wow. And I didn't know who he was. I didn't know if he was full of funny or what. And at the time I was married. And so I brought Dan with me. So anybody who is an AC Comics fan will notice that my name had changed at some point between the comic books and the movies. So it used to be Savarese, and now it's Paris, and that's my damn name, and I'm sticking to it. But so he was like completely just, he thought I did a really great job. I mean, you can say what you want. I don't know. You told me I did a great job, and I believed you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
and then I got cast, and when this was the first movie I had ever filmed, because I was always a stage actress. So this was the first movie I ever filmed, and it was amazing because Bill has to be one of the best directors I've ever worked with. And I even posted that today to Facebook. I've worked with some really great people like Mary Lou Belli, who's a 2-time Academy Award-winning director, Joe Cornette, who's amazing. But Bill is so great because he not only gave me, I asked for lots of, work. I want to know, like, what are these characters? Who are they? I knew nothing about comic books. I was a girly girl, Barbie dolls, My Little Ponies. I'm aging myself. And so anyway, he gave me like 80 comic books to read. And I read the whole entire Femforce series. It was amazing, better than any of the damn TV shows that are on. And I just absolutely loved it, loved the characters, really just jumped it head first in. And he allowed me to explore it and just play.
Yeah.
Oh, I see the picture up there now. Yeah.
She really became the characters because she knew from the beginning to the end what they should be feeling. Backstory. So important. If you really want to be an actress and you really want to work, I don't care what genre it is, you need to know where it's coming from. And if you don't have an idea, make it up, make it real, make it you. And and that's what we did. And it was just, but it was so much fun. And because of that credit, went on the resume in Orlando. I got myself my first agent, and like literally like right after that I started booking commercials and different independent films and this and that, and it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And Bill has been there the whole way. So I lived in Orlando for 8 years. I shot I think 7 or 8 movies and clips and things with him, and went to different Bill, you're my first everything. Like you're my first. No, not your first everything.
That would have been my first husband. That's different, Bill. No, but
creative stuff.
Yeah. And my mom will be so happy to know that it was my first husband. That was the first time, but very Catholic. But anyway, no. But it was also we went to, it wasn't Comic-Con, it was, what was it called?
MegaCon.
Okay. Yeah.
In Orlando,
And I got to go as Alizarin Crimson. I don't know if you can see this back here. Alizarin Crimson, the evil sorcerer of the 9th quadrant. I got to go as her, dressed like that, walking around. and people would come up and want my autograph. It was so surreal. It was so surreal. And some of the guys were like shaking. They were so nervous to put their arms around me. And I'm like looking at Bill and I'm like, what the hell's the problem, man? It's okay. It's just me.
She made the show a success for AC Comics because some guy be walking down the aisle and she'd come up and say, "Don't you want to buy the latest issue of Film Force?"
That's right.
Drag them in, and the guy goes, and we say, "Special deal, special deal." You know, the book was like $2 for MegaCon. Special deal. I'll sign it. Only $8. You know, and boy.
Yeah.
We were actually even 15. I got to keep some money there.
That's so cool. Yeah. Here's, I think, a couple posters.
There you go.
Yeah,
with you
that's a Sorcerer's Eye, and there's my card.
Alizarin Crimson on the left, and then Blue Bulleteer in the middle, and Night Veil on the right.
Nice.
Yeah, and I got to play all 3 roles. There's another one. Yeah. See that costume? So this is the most amazing part. Okay, so the costume that I'm wearing for Alizarin, we created that, and that's like a cross of Hot Topic and Fredericks of Hollywood. and what is that? Michael's, that place that you get all your arts and crafts.
Yeah.
I mean,
I still have that headpiece.
You glue on some studs or something.
Yeah. No, we actually those are bridal like veils that they use. I sewed them together and spray painted them and put them opposite. And then my hairstylist at the time, Kim, God, I don't know what happened to her. She told me to wrap a washcloth in my hair so we get that thing that the character actually has. Alizarin Crimson actually has like this bubble thing in her hair. So yeah, but it would get hilariously funny because I would always tease Bill. One, if you've ever had the pleasure of being in Bill's work, the way that you speak is definitely more sci-fi comic book world. So you will learn words you have never ever
heard before.
I mean, real life.
Like calculus. And but I would get so silly with him because sometimes you would stumble. I got to be a pro at it after a while, but you would stumble sometimes. And we have outtakes on the camera where I'm like, who wrote this?
Well, it was a little more than just who wrote this, but we'll leave it. We'll clean it up for this show.
There's no swearing on this.
Oh shit! Come on now.
That's right. Like I'd be like, who the fuck wrote this, Bill?
See, the first inclination was the correct one.
And Bill would just start laughing. I'm like, sequestered in the sanctum? Like, seriously? But then we had like the wedgies and stuff like that because Alizarin has the really long fingernails. And the costume that I created, which is why
that you created. No doubt.
I created, and I didn't realize what I had done to myself.
I remember we had to help her with those wedgies, but
oh my God. Well, it's because of the nails. The nails were so long, I literally couldn't pick my own wedge. And I would just keep looking at like any poor soul who gave a hell about my butt. Could someone just
there were eight guys who were willing to help,
because the costume in the back because the costume actually was like a lingerie piece that we had pieced together. So it had a thong in the back, but we had tights on it. So it just,
And lingerie, as everybody knows, you get that at Michael's.
Yeah.
Right.
Not Victoria's Secret.
It was Cedric's.
Boy, that's a hobby for you right there.
Yeah. Hey, guys, we're getting some nice comments coming in. So
we are?
I bet, right after that wedgie conversation.
Hey, guys.
Hey, now Aaliyah was in Sangor. Yay! I'm so glad she saw us. Yeah, so Aaliyah.
Beautiful lady.
Yeah, and so when we show that trailer, Aaliyah, you better stay on for that. Aaliyah, I recruited her. When we got going with Bill got to be really open with me going, so do you know some other actors? I'm like, hell yeah. And I used to work for 247cast.com, which was Hines Productions, Heather Hines. Amazing job, caused a lot of conflict with some of the other casting directors. Whoops, sorry guys. But it was, hey, I was just an actress trying to make some money.
You were just starting out.
I'm sorry. I'm really good at sales. So we sold websites. So I sold over 1,000 websites for her, and we started going. And what we did is we brought in other actors and people to like that, because actors always need jobs. So the best thing to do is work for a casting company if it's not a conflict. So we went in and Aaliyah got hired, and she is like, oh my God, executive assistant extraordinaire. She's freaking amazing. So she gets in, she starts working. Her and I become fast friends, and to this day we are best friends.
Cool.
We talk all the time, you know, text each other, call each other, miss each other. It's just hard. And hello, Joseph.
Hey,
Hey,
Joe.
I'm so glad you got my invite.
He's
And
a Force fan there.
but yeah, so I pulled her into this vampire movie and said, "Do you want to do this with me?" So I can't wait for you guys to see that trailer with Sangor. And yeah, and then I recruited Mary Lou Mandel, who is in Los Angeles. Mary Lou and I worked together at the same office with Heinz Productions. That's why it's going to drop that name and said it, because we all three worked together, and I put all three of us in Phil's movie.
3 beautiful vampire babes.
Oh yeah, we had fun.
That's true.
Nice footage. I was proud of that. There
Yep,
you
there
go.
they are. There. So
All 3.
Aaliyah's right in the middle. That's Aaliyah. Isn't she gorgeous? She is
look
just.
at her skin, so beautiful.
Oh my God, she still looks like that. God bless her.
Oh,
She looks fantastic. She is amazing, and she has got the kindest, most compassionate woman you will ever meet. And that's her right there.
She's not so compassionate there, but
That's it. And that's Mary Lou getting bitten.
there we go.
You can't have enough blood, Bill. That's me adding blood to Aaliyah's face while she's straddling Mary Lou. Mary Lou.
It takes a team. It's a team effort, you know. So everybody's got to wear all kinds of hats, right?
Yeah, no, we did too. Yeah, we really did. And this is Chuck Che. Chuck Che, I gotta tell you, he is freaking leaps and bounds. He was assistant director. Is that right?
Well, he helped with the camera work. He did some of the really spectacular shots of the vampire women fighting. And he's from Korea, and he went back to Korea and became a really big deal over there. I couldn't tell you exactly what a big deal is because I don't read Korean, but he's very, very talented.
Really big.
Very successful.
He's in the union, you know, the union that they have over there. He's directing. He came into LA. He came in. They had a movie that they were working on here.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I wanted him to take over and be my cameraman, but no, he had to go back to Korea and become famous. Well, what are you gonna do?
He was great. He was absolutely great to work with. Yeah.
Well, everything he learned from you, Bill.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
He did a great job in the movie too.
He did as an actor too. I mean, I think that's what's so much fun is that you had such a great ensemble of people coming through that really wanted to not only impress Bill, but be a part of his fun, because it really, when you read his comic books, you're like hooked. And as a girl, I mean, Bill, will you please answer that question? I know Daniel I'm like talking away. Daniel, this is such a great story. How did FemForce become FemForce?
There you go.
Okay, I was working for Marvel Comics in the late 70s, 77, 78. Roy Thomas read my Paragon books. He was editor-in-chief at Marvel, I believe, at that time. And he wrote me and wanted me to do some work for Marvel. One of the books we did was a What If. What if the Avengers had been formed in the 50s, okay? And in that story, written by Don Glut, it revolved around a lot of the characters that I read when I was a little boy back in the 50s, including Namora, who was the Submariner's cousin, and Venus and Jana the Jungle and all that. So when we were through with the book, I said to Roy, I said, you know, I think it'd be a good idea if you did an all-girl team. You know, you put all these characters together. You had Miss America and the Blonde Phantom and all. Put all these together with the ones you had in this story, and make an all-girl team. Well, I said, no, you know, girl characters, female characters just don't sell.
Miss opportunity.
They knocked that down. So then I thought, when I started my own company, I'll do it myself. And I took all the female characters from the Paragon stories and created the FemForce. And that's been running since 1984, nonstop. And that's my legacy there, those girls. And right over here, that's the FemForce on the wall back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been doing that for like 35 years, but with Paragon Press, you know, what you mentioned before we went live, that's been going on since the 70s, right?
No, since 69. Actually, it's been over 50 years I've been doing this.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm old.
Yeah, but see, now you can see. Stop. But you can see how amazing, though, it is to be a part of this, because reading all these stories from all way back then, and just
Yeah.
the storylines ongoing, and then to actually become the Blue Bullets here, to become Night Vale.
And what a thrill it is for me to see my characters come alive, you know,
Yeah.
and it's terrific.
On the screen in all these fun shorts and stuff. Yeah. I watched Blood Fiend, and of course you've got at the end of the credits you got that nice little short with with some of your comic book characters too. That was a nice little surprise.
Yeah. Oh, we should play the trailer while Leah's still on here. Do it.
Let's go and play that trailer.
This is for Sangor. What are we calling
Scary,
it now?
scary.
Yeah.
And you're wearing the Maria.
Right here,
This brings back memories. I mean,
Hey, you've gotten a little long in the tooth there, man.
Yeah, I can't. Every time, I just get to know.
Uh-oh, somebody's calling in.
That's my daughter. Yeah.
Oh, is that your daughter? Do you have to take this?
No, my wife will get it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, this was the exact costume that I wore back then.
Yeah, that's a little shiny. Yeah, and the necklace and everything. You wear it well, young lady.
Thank you.
Well, in the plot, the character she plays was bit by a vampire back in the 70s, and this was filmed in 2008, right?
Right.
And the plot was that no one believed her because she looked so young. She never grew old. And in reality of it, look at her now. She doesn't look any different than she did in 2008, right?
Yeah, I think you actually
them, huh?
Yeah, Bill, I think he actually did cast vampires.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Oh, great. And speaking of which, vampires that interact in the daylight. You got your own.
Oh, and beyond that, lesbian vampires, right?
Oh,
pretty much.
Oh, yeah,
pretty much. And we never actually talked about it. Like it just,
No, that was the thing. See, they were infected by this alien from outer space. So they weren't the traditional vampire. They could run around in the daylight because we didn't have the budget to shoot at night, right? So.
Extra light. Yeah. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, I think is this the parasite?
Yeah, that's the parasite.
That's the Sangor.
That is it. That is right there. I missed those contacts. Those contacts I had on were actually prescription sprays.
Oh wow. No,
That's pretty intense.
Yeah. My boyfriend I have now is probably like really excited right now. It's like, what the hell have I gotten into?
Yeah.
Poor Michael.
You didn't know about this?
No, he knows.
He
Actually, he
know about that
suggested I
now.
wear the same outfit. So, so I go, hey, honey.
You have the superhero outfits, Maria?
So, Bill's got, I think I still have the alizarin crimson outfit. You have the blue bullet tear outfit.
Yeah, but they
Blue
don't
bullet
fit me.
tear, Sue Acord made.
Yes.
Because we had structural problems with the first blue bullet tear costume.
Oh dear.
Listen, I'm not like I can sew, but yeah, that was spandex and lycra, and that was a mess. And we tried to, I mean, it made it for the first the captured by the cloak. It worked for that, but then she came up with that fantastic costume. In one of the film festivals we went to, she actually made a smaller costume like the blue bullet tear on a Barbie doll and put it in the box and gave it to me as a gift. And I don't have it with me here. It's actually at my second home in Orlando. Or no, I'm sorry.
Great. She made several costumes. She made the Girl from LSD Sin costume and the Stormy Tempest. In fact, after she did the Stormy Tempest for Nikki Ray, Nikki asked her if she'd make her wedding dress. And so Nikki and Pearson got married in a dress made by our costumer, Sue.
Oh my God, that's so great.
Yeah.
She was amazing.
Sue Acord, her husband is Mike Acord, who was in most of my movies. He was a wonderful actor, and he had a character that he created, which was a TV horror host called Lawn Mad Night. He dressed up with fantastic makeup. When you talk to Mike in real life, he's very shy and hardly says a few words. But when you put that makeup on, he's a completely live wire, and he's tremendous as Lawn Mad Night. And he starred in our with Brenna Barry in the Shadow Slayer movie I did a few years ago. We were going to do a whole series based on his character. And sadly, shortly after we did that movie, he got ill and went into the hospital. And within a month, he'd succumbed to cancer. Didn't know he had it. And so we lost him. And it was a great loss to all of us. I'd known Mike since the early 70s. And he's been a great guy and big on horror. There was an outlet in Orlando called Horror on Church Street.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Terror on Church Street. And he dressed up as his character in that. And it was like Universal Studios has a horror night every Halloween. Well, this was all year round. Okay. And all these people got to dress up as their monsters, and they did this live thing every night in Orlando. You could go through this. It was great. So he was awesome. really into it.
Halloween is every day.
Yeah.
Terror on Church.
Incredible.
Man, that sounds really cool. It sounds like working on your films, Bill. It sounds like you guys have like these everlasting, relationships. Everybody's like, it seems like very family oriented.
Yeah. as best as it can be. No,
I'm
not talking about the G-rated family.
No.
All I make is G-rated films.
I think, and even Bill's wife Rebecca is just amazing, and she like jumps in and helps out and in head first, and there's so many jokes behind the scenes and stuff, but she takes care of it. She makes sure that you're fed and that the costume's right, and works Bill. We've even had her. She's even starred in some of the episodes. I remember the first Night Vale movie I did. She was actually in.
And the movies they made back in the 60s when we first got married, she starred in a couple of my little silent 8mm movies. Cool. Yeah.
It's a beautiful woman.
And another actress that I've stayed close friends with is Brenna Barry, who was also in the Sangor movie.
I cast. I casted her.
Yeah, you did. You brought her in, and she's a wonderful talent. And she was the lead in Shadow Slayer and plays Garganta. And we've done 3 Garganta movies, and I still have a couple more I haven't edited yet. So she's wonderful. There she is. That's great. Yeah, I love them all. They're my girls.
Yeah, I got to work with her. She's a blast to work with. You know, we also had like people like jump in and help out that like people don't like completely, like you see him quick. Like you'll see Sam Rossi, who I absolutely adore, who I've done movies outside of Bill Black and back to Bill Black with, and he's hilarious. Brett Brown, who unfortunately I've lost touch with. I don't know where he is at these. I hope he's well. He was a great guy. Also Dominic Biculo, who I ended up working with on productions past that, which was like Tony and Tina's Wedding and the Rivership Romance Wedding Show, and Murder Watch Mystery Dinner Theater Show. Those were all the live shows that I would do in Orlando. And Bill got to come and see all, you know.
I gave you away. Yeah.
And then Ralph Cahill, we pulled from, where did I pull Ralph? I pulled Ralph from my acting class from Art Sake Studios. So yeah, we pulled a lot of different people, and Brett came from Art Sake Studios as well. So, and Amy LaCicero. And so we did a little really great job, because Orlando is it's a small town, but it was quite lovely, because everybody wanted to help each other there. I mean, for the most part, I mean, everybody has their days, but I can't say that they're all really great. But we just really had a close knit. We had a close knit family, and we really have kept in touch with each other. Or it's like, oh, hey, did you hear about so and so and this, and you know. And it wasn't until I got to California that I literally met Cliff on an accident on the phone. Cliff Balcony, right? Is that how you say his last name? Yeah.
Oh, that's the stage name.
Is that that's what he told me it was, and I just kept it. But I invited him to this. I'm not sure if he's on here, but he's been great and supportive. And Mark Holmes, I never met him in person, and someday I hope I do.
He lives in New Jersey, but he comes down to Florida to be in my movies.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. He's been in several of them. Yeah. In fact, he played the title role in Shadow Slayer. He got to actually be a movie monster. How about that? Yeah.
That's the way to do it. You know, be the monster.
Yeah.
That's fun. Yeah, you guys have just a treasure trove of comments coming in. So there's a lot of old
Go
friends.
for it. Go ahead.
Yeah, you got
Monsky, hey, hello.
Paul Monsky, he's film fan number 1. He's the Film Force's biggest fan. Yeah. Yay, Paul.
And then Jack Feder.
He's a big film fan. Yeah.
And then we've got Al Stone.
Al, hey, Al, hi.
Al and I go way back. We've done a lot of Western film festivals together. He's a great buddy. Yeah. He's actually older than I am.
Oh.
Hard to believe.
Doesn't matter. Age means nothing.
Hey, Nick.
My buddy Nick is tuning in. He's actually just joining Colorado Festival of Horror.
Yeah.
His wife are helping us out on the volunteer side.
Yes, great. Thank you, Nick.
Yeah. Then Jack seems to be pretty entrenched with the AC.
That's exactly it. I know. I told Bill, I said, more and more relevant than ever now, because women are really starting to not dominate, but we're getting there.
And historically, the Fem Force was the very first all-female superhero group.
Nice. Yeah, back in the early 80s, correct?
Yeah. Well, it actually started with it started with Paragon in like 1980, 81. Yeah.
Yeah.
Before I started AC in 82. Yeah.
Yeah. And with that, I mean, you've been, creating comics for such a long time. You went into retirement for a little bit, and now you're back creating, more comics, more Fem Force.
Yeah. Yeah. I enjoyed my retirement. Before I retired, after 30 some years of meeting that monthly deadline, that was the killer.
Yeah.
We had to get that book out, or you didn't make your mortgage payment, couldn't pay your rent and all that. So for 30 plus years, I did that, and I was becoming, going crazy with that. So I turned it over in 2014 to Mark Heike, who was my associate editor, and he's been running it since then, doing a great job. And I guess it's been 2 years now. He got me to come back on, starting with Fem Force 188.
Nice.
And
I can see that.
I've been writing it, and Eric Coyle, who is the artist I most like to work with, pencils it, and then I ink it and letter it and color it. Okay. And I've been doing that. We're up to issue 195 now. We'll be out later this month.
Wow.
And I hope to stay on till we hit 200, because that's a milestone. You know, if we could do that, I'd be very proud.
You'll do
Yeah.
it.
That's an amazing accomplishment. Being able to, you know, do the comics, you know, create short films around them too, and then do other film projects. Even because you were working on comics while you were also filming, correct?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That is an amazing amount of work.
You know, I worked for a couple film production companies before I, you know, started my own thing, and learned to work very fast. One company, we didn't make motion pictures, but we made film loops that were in sound cartridges you plugged into a machine, and it played like an hour-long show. When I worked for them, we did a couple years in a row over 200 of those films a year.
Ooh. Wow.
I mean, so this is, you know, when I shoot my movies, I do a feature film in 3 days. I do 150 to 200 camera setups at a time, or I did. When I did the Mummy Creeps, okay, you know, we shot for 4 hours instead of 11 hours because I'm old. But yeah, that's the way you have to do it, you know. And we started out in the 70s with professional crews, but they were too slow, you know. So we just let them go behind, and we did it all. It was just like one or two of us did the whole thing. So. Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
you had a system.
We did. That is absolutely tremendous. With your current you know, film, are you bringing in like a new group of talent, or are you able to, you know, work
yes. Maria had mentioned Sally Dakin. Okay.
Yeah.
As she said, she is an actress and she teaches acting, and she's married to one of my closest friends, Cliff, with Cliff's Books in DeLand, Florida. She was not my biggest fan, because she didn't like the guy that made the movies with the endowments. There you go. That's it. So,
sorry. Those are real. They're mine.
She made a movie called Elvis and Me, right? Something like that. And was very good. And I wanted to write a script to entice her into being in a movie that I made. And I wrote the script, and she read it and she liked it. And that impressed me. So she got the whole cast together, and we worked with a whole new batch of actors that I've never worked with before, and they were all beautiful. They did a great job. It was wonderful, and it was a she-cat movie. We've got the FemForce into it too. It was The Mummy Creeps. It's a horror comedy with the superheroine in it. We've got everything in it. So
when can we expect to see that come out?
It's available if you want to buy a DVD. It's on my eBay.
Okay.
I have an eBay store. It's under Seller Red Mask, REDMASK. So it's available there. There's a couple of them left. You know. So,
wow,
yeah.
Man, that's pretty cool. It sounds like you really don't seem to slow down.
No. Well, you know, I'll keep doing this till I drop. Right? Why not? You know? If you have the creativity, you got to do it. You know. That's what you live for.
Yeah, most definitely. Are you planning on you know, working with this young lady anytime soon?
I've been, you know, if she hadn't moved to California, how many movies could we have made? We probably could have made one every 2 months.
Well, you know,
12 years.
Before I left to LA, I said to him, I said, we got a couple months, you know, 1 year left. Let's do this. So we did 3 characters in one, and Bill's like, I don't know if we can pull this off. And we did
it really worked.
The Night Vale, the Sorceress Eye. I played the Blue Bolteer, Night Vale, and Alizarin Crimson. And it was amazing. I was so on it. Bill was like laughing. I would tell him, I'd say, you know, I'm memorizing my lines. If anyone walks past my apartment, they're going to think I'm crazy because they hear all these different voices and they're all coming out of me, because there's definitely different voices. But this is where I said to you in the beginning, I got to explore so much as a character actor and become so well-rounded because of it. You know, I was also doing Murder Watch Mystery Dinner Theater and playing 4 characters there. I love Connie and Jeff Gay, Dreamland Productions, you know, and John DeDonna and Russ Blackwell in Ballroom with the Tony and Tina's characters. So it was like, if I didn't look at my schedule, I didn't know which place I was going to for the day, or which accent or which costume to bring. And Bill was right in that line, and it was incredible. But I remember being on set with you My mother had unfortunately fell down the stairs at my sister's house, and she's totally fine now. Everything's good. She's running 9 miles a day, so don't nobody feel bad. She's great, super strong. That's mom.
Yeah.
but yeah, but she I looked at Bill and I had everything memorized and good to go. And that's when I said to him, I'm like, we got to shoot this today. I'm like, I have to go down to South Florida.
Right.
And we shot that in like 17 hours. But we would get to the point where we had the John Godshall there, who I absolutely adore. We had him going and we were like,
he wrote the script.
Because he wrote the script, and I remember him, and like Bill would be like, "Where are we?" I'm like, "We're at top of page 8. The line says this," and I didn't have the paper in my hand. And Bill is like, "How do you do that?"
Yeah. We were on location one time, and she did this. We were out in the field, and one of the actors was having trouble with the line, and I didn't have my script with her, and I was going through it, and I couldn't find it. And Maria, no script, nothing. She just said, "That would be on page 8, third paragraph on the top." And bingo.
There it is.
She's amazing. I mean, can you believe that?
That's awesome.
She not only knows her line, she knows everybody else's lines and where they are in the script.
Well,
Force of nature.
I've heard that with some actors, like they'll go through and memorize, the whole script or everything that's going to be shot that day.
Yeah.
You really should. Yeah.
Yeah,
You have to interact with it.
Well, I'm the kind of actress that goes and just memorize. I read through the script several times, depending on how many lines I have and things like that. I will memorize all of my stuff because in some of these I was 1 or 2 characters, or like the last one I was 3. You kind of start. You have to kind of remember the line before. Yeah. Because you're not just saying your line, you got to partner with that other person. So you got to hear what they're saying, feel it, so that when you say your line, a little bit more Meisner that way, being organic, then you say yours. So I don't know if that's what helped me, but my dad was really, really good at memorizing. And my dad's he's a retired doctor now, but so he used to memorize copious amounts of information. So I guess that's where maybe I got it from, but It was so helpful. And even when we finished that, there's I got to work with Mike Acord one last time, which was amazing. We had so much fun together. He really always stayed in character, and he always gave me a run for my money and always made me laugh. And I loved him to death, and very, very sad when he passed.
This character he played in that movie was the Cloak, another character that he
was
invented.
Hilarious.
And he was covered from head to toe. He had only his eyes to act with.
And I don't know how the heck. And here I am wearing these skimpy outfits. I'm like, "Are you hot? Are you hot? Can you breathe in that?" Like, I just was like, "God, I'm hot." And, but I think the coolest part about that was, Bill, that like when we started the podcast, the first theater I ever worked at in Orlando was in Lake Helen, Florida, named Shoestring Theater. The last movie I shot with Bill was filmed at Shoestring Theater. So it was like this beautiful, symbiotic thing happening. I come to LA. He tells me we need to pick up footage for Garganta. So he gets Tom Madigan. Was that his last name?
Yeah.
Great guy. Huge fan of Bill's. Is like, "Hi, you don't know me. I'm going to film you out in the woods." Great.
Yeah, that's not terrifying.
You're going to run around and pretend you're being attacked by a 20-foot or whatever.
60-foot.
60-foot woman.
Don't sell her short.
Sorry. 60. Well, let me tell you, Brenna already, listen, I'm 5'3.5", for God's sakes. This woman towers over me without having the movie magic. Brenna's amazing, but he's like, "She's going to be chasing you." And it was so funny. I'm like, "Do you trust this guy? Do you know this guy?" I'm like, "Can I bring someone to a set?" But he was as nice as can be. And he shot some of this great footage that ended up it's in Ghost of Garganta, right?
No, it hasn't been released yet. He keeps emailing me. When is that going to come out?
I thought we saw some of the footage recently, though. Did we not?
No.
You just showed me. Maybe it was just for my eyes. I'm sorry.
We've released 3 Garganta movies, and that footage will be in the 4th one.
Well, dear God,
man.
Bill.
Yeah.
I know.
You
This is
mentioned,
what I do in my retirement. I have like a half a dozen films I need to edit and put out there.
I tell Bill all the time, "Send me the Blue Bulleteer costume. I can, I got some time here with this COVID thing happening. We're just, we can do podcasts."
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good for
I mean, what a great way to do little character pieces. You have your characters interview each other.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
We even had PSAs. We had PSAs with the characters. We have if you guys are fans enough, go to AC Comics. You will find PSAs for all 3 of the characters. But you know what you should do though, before we like lose too much time, show the sorceress eyes so you can you can see one of the Femforce pieces.
Yeah. Do you want to set up the Sorcerer's Eyes, the trailer? What's this one about?
I'm sorry, Joe. Bill.
This is the movie where Maria played 3 parts, and John Cottrell wrote the script, and it deals with Night Vale, the sorceress, who is all powerful, and her main enemy, Alizarin Crimson. We had to always have to make Night Vale lose her powers, or there wouldn't be any fight, right? Because she's like the Superman of AC Comics. So that's sort of the setup, and then we had a lot of fun with Mike playing the Cloak. Okay.
Nice. Let's get this play.
Night Vale, the Sorcerer's Eye. Trapped in an abandoned theater, the Blue Bulleteer must fight for her life against the power of Alizarin Crimson and her helpless slave, Night Vale. Our heroine must join forces with the Cloak, an old nemesis with an agenda of his own.
At long last, my dear, we can end this pretense and create something real.
Was that real enough for you?
Horror, adventure, cheesecake, and romance. This one has it all. Starring Maria Paris, Mike Acorn, Maria Paris, Nikki Flynn, and Maria Paris. Night Vale, the Sorcerer's Eye. Coming soon from Galaxy International and Smarty Pants Entertainment. For more details, please visit accomics.com.
Smarty Pants Entertainment, yeah.
Just amazing. I had, it's so funny because I didn't know until I looked back at the footage that day that when I was with the guns when we had walked into that theater setting, that Mike Acord was like checking me out, like looked like he was going to grab my butt. Like, and then he goes like this. I was like, I had no, like, he just went, he was so in character. I had no idea. And the spoon, I love that made it into the trailer because he was like, grab something to fight yourself off with. I'm like, Bill, there's literally nothing up here. He goes, just something sharp. I'm like, there's a spoon.
Well, we have a lot of fun.
We did. Oh my God, we had. But it was always fun. Like even when we did the Captured by the Cloak, we went out to Altamont Springs, and there's this area out there. Have you ever been to Florida and Altamont Springs?
Crane's Roost.
What is it called?
Crane's Roost.
Crane's Roost. Yes. Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot the name. I've been in LA 12 years now, 13 years. Crane's Roost. It's all like bridged and it's all over water. So people would go and they would run it and exercise through it.
Run around the lake. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Bill got this great idea of let's do the fight scene on the bridges. In 95-degree humid Florida weather. Yes.
So it was cooler.
Yeah, it was totally cooler. It was much better. Yeah, and Ray, I got to beat the crap out of Ralph Cahill.
Yeah,
which was so much fun. And Sam was holding I know Sam was doing some camera work with you on that. Yes. But it was so funny because here we are and we're doing this whole thing, and then we'd see people coming around and we'd have to like hold off from filming. So we'd all stop, and I remember standing there in the Blue Bulleteer costume with the the cape and everything, and it was I can't remember, and forgive me, I can't remember exactly which one it was that said it. I don't know if it was Ralph who said it or Sam that said it, but they were like, as the people are walking by, they're giving us like these really weird looks, like what the hell is going on with her, And he looks at the girl that's walking by with her friend and says, I'm sorry, do you know if there's a phone booth around here anywhere? My friend really needs to change.
Nice.
We got the dirtiest look. We were like, she didn't even get it. Superman, nothing. Whatever.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Bill, with AC Comics, you've got FemForce and everything, but I was looking through the catalog too. You've got all these, wonderful, horror comics too.
Yeah,
in the catalog.
Crypto horror.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about these as well?
Yeah. Back in the 50s, that was the when the horror comic reigned supreme, pretty much, until the Comics Code came into existence, and they shut it all down and had to make everything very tame. So there's a window in there, like from 1950 to 1954, where every company was putting out tons of horror comics, and they've been almost completely forgotten. So what Crypt of Horror is we got these books that had fallen into public domain, and we bleached the color out of them and printed them in black and white to make them look like the original line art. And it ran for that's number 35, so it ran at least 35 issues. And it was a really fat book, 120, 140 pages of these classic horror comics. So we were, part of what I'm doing is trying to introduce the comics of yesterday to the readers of today.
Yeah.
We did that with Crypt of Horror. We also did one called Men of Mystery, which did the same thing with superheroes.
Oh,
okay.
Cool.
And then we did Jungle Girls. We brought back the Jungle Girls like Sheena. And I got up with the publisher. He was still alive back when we did this, T.T. Scott, who ran Fiction House, who created Planet Comics and Sheena and Jungle Comics and all that. And he gave me permission to reprint all that material. Wow. And I got up with Vincent Sullivan, who was one of the people who was responsible for the start of Superman. He left DC Comics and had his own company called Magazine Enterprises. And that's what I grew up on, the Durango Kid and Red Mask of those Westerns. And he gave me permission to reprint all the Magazine Enterprises stuff. Nice. And this was really cool. One of the characters was the original Ghost Rider, which was a Western character.
Right.
Drawn by Dick Ayers. And Dick Ayers contacted me, and he came to work for me drawing FemForce. So the guy who was my hero when I was 6 and 7 years old was now working for me doing my characters.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that is so awesome.
We brought back the Ghost Rider, and we called him the Haunted Horseman because Marvel had already stolen that name.
Yeah.
And so he got to do the Haunted Horseman, Ghost Rider again for AC Comics.
Nice.
That was a thrill for me because I really respected the guy. He was terrific.
That's cool. And then I think I came across Night Vale's Cauldron. I thought that would be entertaining.
That was a mix of a news story with Night Vale, and then she was like the horror host, and she introduced 2 or 3 other of the old reprint stories.
Oh, that's so cool. You have such a rich history in comics, and in media. I mean, it's just amazing.
I don't know how many titles we did, maybe something like 120 different titles covering jungle, Western. I was the only idiot that was crazy enough to do Western comics. Oh, and I got the license to do Roy Rogers comics.
Oh, wow.
And through him, through his agent, I got up with Lash LaRue and Sunset Carson, and I did Monty Hale. Monty Hale was a great guy. I met him many years ago, and he became a personal friend, and he was thrilled to have his stories appear once again in the modern day in the comics. So we reprints of his old stories from the 50s.
Oh my God, that's so cool. Yeah, real quick, we're starting to run low on time, okay. But we've got more comments coming through. Jack is back again, saying, so glad that FemForce is still going. I have a complete set. Looking forward to 200.
Yes, me too.
And then Kurt was talking about Maria, such a nice person.
Oh, Kurt! Oh, I love Kurt. Kurt's the reason why this lighting looks good. Oh, nice. Kurt's actually from Orlando, a very, very talented writer.
Oh, cool.
Another talented writer. Yeah. And he actually he's made a couple of movies. He made a horror movie. Yeah, we'll talk about Kurt. I totally forgot about Kurt. So glad you reminded me.
Yeah, thanks.
We'll put you guys on the same page. Yeah, he's winning awards, and he's done a bunch of great stuff. The Mummy Creeps is hilarious. Ah, there you go, Bill. Can you see it?
Yeah, and I think my buddy Nick is fixated on the cheesecake.
Aren't we all?
Oh dear, yeah.
That took me a second. I just realized I'm like, what? Oh.
Drizzle it with strawberries. Yeah, it's good.
So, yeah, strawberries are better for you than chocolate.
Yeah. But
Mark Dale, he's doing a movie based on our character Tara, the Jungle Girl.
Oh, cool.
It's been 3 years in the making. We're real anxious to have that come into release.
Nice.
Soon, right, Mark? Yes.
That's cool. And then Judy came.
Judy, okay. She was in back when I was in high school, in Winter Park High School. I was making movies, and she was acted in one of my movies back then.
Oh my God, Judy, that's so cool.
Back in 1960, 61.
Wow, I love that.
How about that?
Oh,
Watching.
That's
Phelps. That's where we lived on Phelps in Winter Park.
Yeah, Bill, Maria, we're out of time, but oh my gosh, it's so great to chat with you. Yeah, Maria, it's always a pleasure chatting with you. But Bill, you've got such an amazing history.
I know. You can call him back anytime you want now. Now you guys, boys have figured it out.
Yeah. Definitely. We'll have to have you back on, when you've got the next batch of film edited and ready to roll out and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's amazing to hear, all the wonderful work and love and passion that goes into these projects, whether it's film or
you gotta love it. Yeah.
There are such great storytelling elements that can really, connect with people. And obviously with that longevity, it's connected with a lot of fans.
It really has, yeah.
And it's been amazing. One really quick before we go. I'm out here in LA. I'm doing a liquor promotion. This was like probably 6-7 years ago. And I walk by a room and ask people if they all want a shot of whiskey. And there's this guy sitting there and he goes, "You look really familiar." And I'm like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "Oh, you guys doing comic books?" I'm like, "What are you doing?" And they got comic books out and stuff. And he goes, "Oh my God, you're the Blue Bulleteer." And I'm like, I was like, "Oh my God, That's why I laugh when people get nervous to meet me. I'm so freaking down to earth. Like I'm literally 5'3.5". I'm so close to the earth. I mean, it's just like, but I'm like, oh my God, this is.
Hey, I thought you were 5'4".
No, yeah, that's what I put.
You misrepresented yourself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right, listen.
Oh, that's
hair
awesome.
color is no longer real, but everything else is, and I'm 5'3.5".
It's that half inch makes it all the difference.
Yeah, but if my agent always told me say 5'4", but yeah, I'm 5'3.5". But I'm the tallest girl in my family, Bill, and really that's really all that matters. After my other 3 sisters still hate me because of that. So, but I also want to say thank you, Daniel, so much for putting us on here.
This was a lot of
fun.
And Bill, I really don't think people realize how. I don't think you realize how many people love your stuff, see your stuff, are affected by your stuff, and really enjoy working with you. And all the actors that I talked to when we were doing this were like, "Oh my God!" Like whether they made it on here or not, they'll be watching the recorded version.
A lot of them did, yeah.
And they really, we really, really appreciate you. You're like family to me, and like I tell you and Rebecca, come and visit, and and Laura, and I wish you, I'm so glad that we've stayed close. I still ask him questions with Rita Guida because he is the #1 character guy that's made a series last as long as he has with characters.
We at one time had tried to do and didn't work a Blue Bulleteer meets Rita Guida. Remember, we were going to come to Florida and we were going to do that.
You know what? We could still do that, Bill. We could still do that.
Let's go. I'll come out of retirement for that.
Let me tell you, Lenny Messai, writer that I have now working for me for Rita Guida. We're developing a new 30-minute dark comedy show that's in development right now. Let me talk to him and I'll show him. We could we'll help you write it.
That's what this show is all about. Bringing old and talent together.
New ideas born.
Yeah, let's do it. I know you're busy. Rebecca's probably back there going, "Oh God, Bill, finish the other ones first."
Yeah,
Right. You only got a stack of other films to
I do.
up there, Bill. Come
It's
on.
only 6 or 7 of them. That's all.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I would love to. You know, and Lenny lives in Pensacola, Florida right now. He's over there, I think. Is it Pensacola? Sure.
Sure. Yeah.
That's a long ways away.
Yeah, that's right, Dan. Maria, Bill, it's been great having you on. For everybody watching, make sure you go to accomics.com and Bill, nightveilmedia.com. Is that right?
Yeah.
Excellent. Go there, check out the films. Yeah, there's you can download them off the website. I did.
Trailers on YouTube.
Yeah, and Vimeo as well too.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And then Maria, where can people go follow your work?
Follow me on RitaGuida.com. So it's RITA, Rita Guida, GUIDA.com. RitaGuida.com. It'll bring you right to all the show.
Nice. That's so cool. Maria, Bill, thanks again for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. And stick around for a few minutes while we sign off, okay?
Yeah, don't go, Bill.
Thanks, Dan.
Don't go anywhere. Don't turn off yet. And I want to say thanks to everybody that tuned in, and of course to our friends at Mutiny Cafe. If you're going to start a revolution, make sure you're caffeinated. Our friends at Hellfire Entertainment, thanks for rebroadcasting us on your social media, and of course Groovy TV. We carry on in Groovy's stead. And our friends at Alien Donut Films, Bill and Angela over there, thanks for putting up with my shit. And my producer, Santa Cruz, and Amanda Armstrong, thanks so much. And of course, everybody out there during these tough times, look out for each other, take care of each other. Remember, we love you, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Have a good night, everybody. Oh.